Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Loretta McNary Show. What if nobody ever taught you the rules of the game, yet you were expected to win every time? Most of us were never taught how money actually works, and the consequences follow us for decades and decades. Today's guest, she wrote the amazing book that changes all of that. She's a New York Times best-selling author, and she has a book called Get Financial Life. Get a Financial Life. I haven't, I've been reading it, and it's not something I can read overnight because it is challenging my thoughts and my beliefs about it. So over 500,000 people have gone through the financial decisions that shape everything, and her book is going to help us. Everybody, welcome Beth to the Loretta McNary Show.
Oh, it's so
Hi.
great to be here, Loretta. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so geeked to have this conversation with you, an expert. I'm telling you, this book is for everybody. I know your audience right now is 20s and 30s. And just think, if I had this book back then, where I would be financially. I'm not in bad shape or anything, but I know I could have just really, really done better. So, what was your inspiration for this book for the 20s and 30-year-olds?
Right. Well, I've been writing about this topic for my whole career. I wrote for Money Magazine for many years, and I started in this field when I was young, and I wrote a book 30 years ago, Get a Financial Life, Personal Finance in Your 20s and 30s. And now I'm updating it because Gen Z is facing a really tough time financially. I mean, I think it's the hardest, most difficult time we've seen in decades, but I still have shown that you can do small things, make small changes in your life that really fundamentally change your financial outlook. And I think that there's so much that's bombarding young people with social media and, gambling websites and cryptocurrency and all these promises for riches that to come off really quickly. And the problem is that those don't work out for the most part. And you really want to be smart about your money. You want to do things like get out of debt, avoid credit card debt, avoid buy now, pay later loans. You want to save in a high yield savings account, and you want to invest in index funds, 401k, index ETFs. It might sound like a gobbledygook if you don't know the basics of personal finance, but I promise you it's pretty straightforward and not all that complicated.
Yeah, and this book, I'm telling you, this book, you make it clear. But talking, and we only have a few minutes, I'm going to try to get us a lot done. So it sounds good, and especially when you're in your 20s and 30s. So is there something you wish you had known when you were 20 or 30 that kind of impacted this book and your writing, your decisions?
Right. Well, I was lucky. So my parents, I grew up in Queens, New York. My parents were very middle class. They were teachers. My dad was a principal, but my father grew up really poor. And he decided when he became a grown up to save. He wanted to save and, provide stability for his family. So I grew up hearing about pension plans and I'm going to put away 40% of my income so we can have it for the future. They were very good about saving and learning to invest, even though that wasn't their thing. So through osmosis, honestly, I think I heard these conversations and I knew how you can have very little, but still have a good financial future for your children. And I meet people now in their 60s and 70s who tell me, oh, I read your book, 30 years ago when it first came out, and I didn't have a lot and I didn't really want to save, but I listened to what you said, put a small amount away in my 401k, and now I have literally hundreds of thousands of dollars I wouldn't have had otherwise. So young people today can do that. And that's really the key message of my book.
Right, because you said whether you're making $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year, we can all get there. And it really puts us on an even playing field when we have the knowledge of information and know the power of money. But because we want get rich quick kind of things, we want it now. We don't think about savings and bonds and, putting our money and putting away so much at an early age so we can, by the time you graduate from college, had we known this, we could have been okay and not worried and have to take any kind of job. So what is the first place we should start not knowing anything to get us there?
I would say if you have credit card debt right now, the average interest rate on a credit card is the highest it's ever been. It's 22% on average. So you want to get out of debt if possible. Paying off A credit card that charges you 22% is the equivalent of earning a guaranteed rate of 22% after taxes. That's a great investment. No social media person could tell you about a guaranteed 22% rate of investment. So get out of debt. Don't buy more than you could afford. That's the first part. Then I'd say put your money in a high yield savings account. You have a choice. You could put your money in a savings account in a bank that pays you, 0.1%, or you could put one in an account that pays you 3 or even 4%. Be smart about it. Just making that one decision is so easy to do. All you have to do is Google it. High yield savings accounts, FDIC insured banks. Your money will be safe and you'll earn a little bit more interest, and you could start building up. That's the first place to start for an emergency cushion. In case anything happens, you'll have some money saved.
Wow, I can see your passion. I hear it in your voice, and you are so passionate about this. But most of us are not like that. So we hear credit cards when we're 18 or going to college. So we apply, we keep applying, and a few, not even years, but a few months later, we're in so much debt, and we just keep on doing it, right? And now we have this crypto influencers all over social media that they're watching. And my thing, if I can't physically hold it in my hand, I'm really not interested. But I'm of that generation where I like the stocks. I love, I want to know about this stock. I want to invest in stocks, not things that are so new on the market. So how can we help our children who are in college or who've had to move back home, even to let them know it's okay, we can put a plan together? What should that plan be?
Well, I think you're exactly right, Loretta. People who invested in the S&P 500 index funds, these are just the basic, diversified index funds you could get at companies like Vanguard or Fidelity or Schwab. And again, I don't get kickbacks from anything I recommend. If you look at a 15-year period for these investments, they have made money 99% of the time. So every 15-year chunk of time, they have made money. If you look at something like crypto, Bitcoin lost almost 50% since its high in October 2025. I think, if you're looking at gambling and prediction markets, they're very popular with young people. 70% of people in their 20s say they have participated in a gambling site. That to me is really, really tragic, because a study of 700,000 online gamers shows that 96% of them lost money. So do you want to make money by putting it in an index fund or an index ETF, or do you want to lose money by taking a high flyer on some gambling stock or prediction market that chances are you're going to lose? And you're hearing people on social media, they're making money because they're the influencers and they're getting paid, but you're not going to be making money. And it's very, I think, tempting to sort of give up, to saying, you know what, it's just too hard. I can't afford a home. I'll never afford a home one day. The typical age of buying a first-time home is 40 years old. In my generation, it was 28 years old. So it's stressful and it's disappointing. But don't then say, I'm going to give up and take a high flyer on something that could make me a lot of money, but chances are you're going to lose. By far, the odds are you will lose. So go with index funds, start saving in high yield accounts, 401ks at work, and you will be on your way, slow and steady, to get there.
And I know for a lot of people, especially starting out and in the economy that we now have, it's so discouraging. You feel like, I'm working, I can't get ahead. I just don't know what to do. So most of us have credit card debt. I'm glad that I don't presently have credit card debt through trial and error and just learning. So how can we pay? Oh, time is going so fast with you on here, Beth. It's like I have 1 minute. So before I ask that question about credit card debt, please look at her book. Her first chapter is Crib Notes. It talks about health insurance and life insurance, all of the things that you need that can help you with your financial future. So where can they go for more information? Where can they find you? Where can they get this book? And you have to come when we have more time, because I want to deep dive with this.
Absolutely. I would love to. The book, Get a Financial Life, it's available all over the place, every place where books are sold. So go into a bookstore or buy it online. Get a Financial Life. I think it makes a good graduation gift, and it makes a good gift really for people of all ages who really want to know the basics of money.
Okay, I got one quick question, Beth. So
Yeah.
you were a staff writer at Money Magazine. You were featured in New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and appeared on CNN and all the financial things Today Show. But you were also on Sesame Street. What did you do on Sesame Street?
Oh my God. My favorite thing was teaching Elmo about money and teaching the cookie monster he has to delay gratification and can't eat those cookies. You got to save up that money. It was such a cool project. Sesame Street came to me and said, we want to teach very young children. We want to expose them to this idea of saving. And they want to talk about saving, and they talked about sharing, giving to others. And it was an amazing experience. And I got to, meet all my celebrity Elmo and Cookie Monster friends. I haven't heard from them lately, but they're busy.
You did your job. I know we have to go, but I promise you, I have to have you come back to talk about insurance and how life insurance is more than just paying for your funeral services. It can really leave legacy and generational wealth. You can create it, and it's not a scary thing to talk about the way you talk about it. So thank you, Beth. You got to come back. Promise you'll come back.
Thank you, Loretta. I loved it. Thank you. I promise I'll come back.
All right. Bye for now. So I'm telling you, I love that our segments, we can get a lot into a segment, but a financial segment with a guru like Beth needs more time. I will bring her back for you. I'll let you know so you can get your questions in. Sandra, thank you for that comment. Insurance can definitely help transfer your risk, but it comes with education. We have to know what we don't know so we can make better choices. It's not about how much money you have or how much money you make. It's what you know to do and what your beliefs are about money. Because if you grew up with a relationship with money that it was just to pay bills, and all you're going to do is work until you pay bills, until you pay bills, until you pay bills. Like Beth, she had parents who talked about this in her family, not necessarily to her, but she said she overheard it. Sandra said, love Sesame Street, great idea of teaching young children. If she can teach finances to young children on Sesame Street, my point was in making that, she can teach it to any of us. So check out Beth Kobliner on all social media, get her book, and let's have a book study on that. Thank you so much for watching the Loretta McNary Show. Think positive, dream big dreams, help someone along the way, and beloved, live like you believe. See you soon. Bye for now.